Anime starts with a professor explaining something apparently ancient, showing how a bear that turned into a human manages to join a successful bear clan. Then there is the tiger that couldn't turn into human and joined the defeated clan. He says that they take these stories that really happened and they call them myths. Then the class ends and we see Haejeon, our protagonist, sleeping in class. A girl called Yoon Seojin comes to ask why he is always sleeping in school. So Haejeon asks back saying why she is always bothering him at school. Yoon asks him if something happened to Haejeon. Haejeon says that he can't see well with one eye but it's probably nothing. We see Haejeon getting out of school and telling us that suddenly one day he got the ability to other beings hiding as humans, and those beings make everything in their power to go unnoticed as normal humans. Later, some beings with the shape of a snake attacks Haejeon and they left him immobilized in the ground. And when Haejeon was about to die, he sees a tiger approaching. The tiger transforms into a human and say Haejeon to hold a bit longer. The tiger starts to fight against the snakes and manages to win. A week has passed since the fight against the snakes and Haejeon doesn't understand what happened. We see that the tiger is living with Haejeon in human form. Haejeon starts to think that this might be the tiger from the mythology they talked about at the beginning of the manga, but the tiger says that he doesn't even know what he is talking about. Suddenly the tiger notices that Haejeon wears a necklace. Haejeon says that his mother gave it to him. Then the tiger asks Haejeon to wear that necklace all the time since some horrible things are about to happen. In a change of scene we see Haejeon at school. Suddenly a new student is transferred. His name is Young-hoo. Our protagonist noticed that immediately that he is one of those strange things. Young-hoo has troubles with some bullies in school at break. The bullies take him to a more separated place and when they start intimidating him, Young-hoo does something with one of the bullies. He possesses him and makes him cause havoc all over the place, throwing chairs and tables. Seojin, Haejeon's friend, notices it and start running to tell Haejeon what she saw. Just before Seojin could tell Haejeon what she saw, Young-hoo appears behind them, which prevents Seojin to open the mouth. All three of them are going home and Young-hoo wanted to go to Haejeon's house with him. But Seojin lies and say that Haejeon has things to do. Haejeon goes with the flow and says yes. So Haejeon goes to his home and they go separate ways. When Seojin was walking to her house, Young-hoo appears behind her. Young-hoo starts to insult her saying that who the fuck did she think she was. Then we see Seojin at the top of a building calling Haejeon to hurry because she is about to jump. We see three guys getting into the building alongside Haejeon. Those three guys were telling Young-hoo what the hell was he doing. That girl was not the one. They were looking for Haejeon tell Seojin to hold. Seojin says that she can't move because Young-hoo has control over her body. Young-hoo is angry because the three guys are paying attention to Haejeon and he decides to throw Seojin from the building to see if Haejeon could save her. Seojin fall into the ground and Young-hoo just laughs saying that Haejeon is pathetic. Haejeon, angry for what he did to Seojin, tries to punch him, but Young-hoo stops him, controlling his body. Young-hoo makes Haejeon to be immobilized. One of the three guys tells Young-hoo to stop, that he can't do that to that kid. So Young-hoo, tired of hearing what he should do, grabs one of the guys and kills him. Then Young-hoo takes control over Haejeon's body and start choking him. But Haejeon's body reacts and starts to absorb Young-hoo's power. Haejeon manages to break the hypnosis and hits Young-hoo. Then as a revenge for what he did to Seojin, Haejeon keeps punching Young-hoo until he finally sends him out the building, killing him. After that we can see how Young-hoo's power starts to absorb Haejeon. Haejeon tries to run back out of it but it absorbs him anyways and he falls to the ground. When the tiger arrives and the other two guys recognizes him, the tiger watches the scene and see Haejeon lying on the floor. The tiger goes down and detain the two guys who wanted to flee. After threatening them for a few minutes, the guys tell the tiger that they work for the Nocturne demon sect. We see a change of scene and we are in a party. We see a woman called Nuna along with many agents talking about the tiger and Haejeon. Nuna says that the tiger can break his seals but she doesn't know how. We see that there is an infiltrated with a VIP suit listening to the conversation. Until they find him, Nuna starts to fight him and he decides to fight back. The infiltrator evades the guards and gets out the street with Nuna to fight. Nuna tries to hit him but the infiltrator evades everything. The infiltrator counterattacks and Nuna finds out that he is a Ninetales Fox. We change the scene and we see other agents in a car saying that there is someone in the Black Dragon Club. They ask their leader if they should get moving and the leader accepts. We see Haejeon dreaming with Seojin while he says NOOO. And then he wakes up suddenly. The tiger says that he must return to sleep. It is early. Haejeon says that he can see these beings since he was little and her mother said that he should not be afraid, that they are friends. The tiger is curious and asks where her mother is now. Haejeon says that she passed away and she gave him that necklace her mother told him to wear it all the time because it is a guardian spirit. Then out of nowhere the tiger says that he will have to visit her mother. We change scene and we see Nuna again fighting the Ninetales Fox. They realize that there are people watching them, so the fox takes that advantage and escapes. Nuna go after him, and after various evasions she finally hits him. In that moment a woman arrives in a limousine and notices that they are both fighting. Nuna says that this is the second time she hit someone in the face and still keeps on his feet. Now we see that the Ninetales Fox can fly and throws fire to Nuna. After a little chat, Nuna asks what he wants. The fox says he wants to ask some questions to her boss. And in that moment the agents from the limousine arrives and start threatening them and ask them to put their hand in the air. Nuna runs away and the agents realize that she is not human. But the fox says that he wants to know and he asks them to arrest him. We see a camera recording the interrogatory the agents will have with the Ninetales Fox. Here it is revealed to us that this manga is set in the 1970s, because the fox has an ID saying that he was born in 1971 and the agent says it was impossible that he was 1 year old, so they realize that the ID is false. After a few questions he stops answering and he shows to them that he is a Ninetales Fox, and he says that not only humans live in this world. In a new scene we see someone again pretending to be a human saying how some bullies are going to abuse some child. The bullies see him and they start bothering him, so the being hits one of them and asks the others to go away. Now we are back with the agent interrogating the fox. The agent doubts that he really is a Ninetales Fox, and the fox says that every creature they always thought were a myth had crossed dimensions to be in the earth. But he says that where and when, he didn't know, it was different, and each one of them lives among us. The agent reveals to the fox that they are investigating the demon sect, and they know that Du Jiangyu, Nuna's name, is not human. The agents asked what would have happened if they shoot in that situation. So the fox answers that he would have caught the bullet, and he reveals her real name. The fox says that Nuna's real name is Shutterwalk. And now at the same time we see Shutterwalk entering a place and talking to someone who offers her a drink. The chapter starts where we left the previous one. We see Shutterwalk talking with what? It seems to be her boss, and the boss says that the government is already involved in this. The boss says that she should pay a visit to a guy. He hands over a piece of paper. Shutterwalk leaves. Her boss starts talking to someone unknown on the second floor. The boss says that Shutterwalk is like his tank. Also, the booze reassures that someday Shutterwalk will meet the person who he is talking with. In a new scene we see the same mysterious being from the last chapter hitting more and more bullies. And suddenly Shutterwalk arrives. The mysterious being tells Shutterwalk that they are from the same species. Shutterwalk says to stop that she is there to talk business. 2 days goes on and we see the tiger alongside Heijon. The tiger says that he should visit Heijon's mother. Heijon, confused, asks what he is talking about. The tiger explains that he was locked inside that necklace for 5,000 years, and the tiger needs to know what happened in those 5,000 years and also need to know how Heijon ended up having that necklace. If not, the tiger says that it would be very difficult to love this world. Heijon asks the tiger about those powers that appeared while he was fighting with against Yonghu. Heijon says that he doesn't know how to do that again. The tiger says that he doesn't know, but the tiger states that Heijon is human, but not a common one. The tiger thinks that it has something to do with how that collar ended up with him. Heijon now questions himself if he is now a stranger like the tiger, but the tiger thinks that is not what it is, because strangers recognizes each other. And as he says that, the tiger senses that something is wrong. He feels the presence of someone else in the train, and out of nowhere the same mysterious being who has heading the bullies appear. The tiger tells Heijon to get out the train fast. We see that the tiger tries to escape the train with Heijon, but the mysterious being intercepts them and starts to fight. The tiger says if he is not ashamed for attacking the humans. So the mysterious being says not at all. In fact, that boy is his target. The scene changes and we see Shutterwalk relaxing. Then an agent arrives asking about who was the being they encountered the other day. So Shutterwalk asks if he have never read any Korean fairy tale. The agent says that at least he recognizes Hyunbu Nalbu. And Shutterwalk asks if he thinks he is an elf. The scene changes and we see the tiger again fighting against the being, which seems to be an elf. So after 2 strong hits, the tiger leaves him on the floor. The tiger starts to celebrate, saying that he is too cool. Heijon tells him to be careful. And in that moment a train runs over the tiger. Heijon stays alone on the tracks, and out of nowhere the elf appears and tells him to go together. Now we see a flashback where Shutterwalk is hiring an elf asking him to bring Heijon with her. The elf is surprised about what she is asking him. Shutterwalk explains that Heijon is not important, but he is with someone very strong, so the boy is probably someone even stronger. We go back to the present and the elf is disappointed because Heijon doesn't show any powers. So the elf hits him and asks if he isn't hiding his powers. But Heijon is just trying to bite him, so the elf hits him again. We see the tiger going back into the tunnel looking for Heijon, and the elf drags Heijon across the floor. Heijon, angry, questions the fact that everybody is attacking him. What did he do to deserve that? And suddenly Heijon's eye shines and turns into purple. The elf, confused and in shock, watches without understanding what's going on. While the tiger is on his way, he senses an energy like from another stranger, and he realizes that it might be Heijon. Heijon is controlling the elf's body just like Yonghu's powers. And out of nothing a train appears, and luckily the elf moves, managing to save his life. The tiger arrives and says to the elf, "How you dare to attack him?" In a change of scene, we see Shutterwalk with her boss arriving to what it seems to be a lab. The scientists call his booze a Mugi, so that's his name. The scientist realizes that it is the first time he meets with Shutterwalk, so he introduces himself as Huatao. Shutterwalk is surprised because she never thought that scientist good would look like that. Huatao mentions that he extracted a blood sample from Heijon and injected it to a test subject. He says that it is beyond his expectations. He asked them to take a look at the statistics in the test subject, the resistant, physical recovery, reaction time, etc. But he mentions that there is a problem. Before the subject absorbs something or gets these statistics, his body comes back to normal after 24 hours. Huatao says that all of this is very impressive. He has been investigating for more than 2,000 years and he never saw something like that. The subject awakes and shows a great hate for Imugi. The subject breaks the cell and decides to attack, so Shutterwalk intercepts him, hitting him first. Finally, Imugi ends up burning the test subject. Imugi says that indeed he is not a god, but he will challenge God. In a new scene, we see the tiger with Heijon in a boat. Heijon remembers the fight against the elf, asking why he stopped him. The tiger says that he is dangerous, and to be honest, he needs to come back home. Shutterwalk is informed that the elf has failed, and Imugi says that he will get after the tiger. In a new scene, we see Heijon with the tiger arriving to Heijon's birth city, the With Flowers Island. Heijon gets into the island and realizes that it is pretty different compared to what he remembered when he was little. He finds his house and he realizes that it had been burned down. The tiger notices a tomb that says White Flower Goddess, and he asks Heijon how his mother was. Heijon says that she was a well-known and respected shaman even outside the island. But the strange thing is that he doesn't remember how she died. And when he tries to remember how she died, a strong headache comes. The tiger notices that there is someone following them. And out of nowhere, a mysterious being gets behind his back and says that a man's back is everything. Heijon remembers that being from the past who also said something about the back end. It seems that Heijon was very close to him. And the tiger asks who he is. The mysterious being asks him to show his power. They start to fight, and after fighting for a bit, the mysterious being says to the tiger that he is pretty agile but lacks strength. So the tiger starts to scratch him once and again, and the mysterious being says that it only tickles him. The mysterious being falls to the floor, and out of nowhere he summons a giant totem. The mysterious being says that now they will be witnesses of who he was. Heijon realizes that the name of this being is Totem Ajasi, and he senses that they've been together before and he knew his mother. Ajasi tells Heijon that he missed him so much. Then they go to Ajasi's house and they see his mother's altar. Heijon, talking to Ajasi, asks a favor to tell him how his mother died. Ajasi tells that one night a thunder fell into their house while a man was watching everything. Ajasi has a flashback where we see Heijon's mother talking to Ajasi about someone who pretends to be a dragon and will have the strength of a dragon, and she's not sure if she can't stop him. Then little Heijon arrives and his mother gives him the necklace. She says that necklace has passed from generation to generation and he has to wear it always because it will protect him wherever he'll be. Ajasi and his mother were aware that he could awake the tiger. Then Heijon asks who is that man who pretends to be a dragon, and Ajasi reveals that is his mother's enemy, Imugi. The chapter ends when Imugi chasing the snake from chapter 1. Imugi asks if he was the one how awoken the tiger,